Hello there, my dear friends. I hope you're doing well. So I received a query from a very close friend of mine who heads a fairly large community, a large community of Muslim people. And as a matter of interest, he forwarded to me a speech by one of the prominent, very conservative clerics, priests in this country. And this priest raises the issue of women being confined to their homes and not allowed to come out to mosque, etc. So for you who are used to following the videos on this channel, you know where I stand. I mean, I don't regard Hadith as having divine legislative value. Hadith, for all I care, is information. It is historical narratives that are ascribed to the Prophet. They are not the words of the Prophet. If they had been the words of the Prophet, he would have authorized it with a scribe and with 2 witnesses, and it would come in the form of officially handed down message or information from the Prophet. So Hadith has historical value, it has explanatory value, we can explain some of the language, we can reconstruct the seerah, but the seerah is not law, it's not compulsory, it gives us a picture of history. So I'm not anti those things, right? Hadith has a place. So that is, in short, my position on Hadith. So if you went and peeked when the Prophet went to bathroom around the corner and then that is in fact, I have a problem with that also. So overhearing things, listening to the Prophet saying something to somebody else and hearing half the story and then going and saying this is what, you cannot act on that. That is not fair to the Prophet, my friends. That is not fair to the Prophet. And that is why the man that steps out of the pages of the Hadith books, it is a cruel person. And I'm sorry to say, but it's because you get all these people who come and they say, I heard the Prophet say, I heard the Prophet say, I heard the Prophet say. And like I said to you, that when people ask me a question like this, the answer is very simple. I don't regard the Hadith as binding law on me or anyone. The only book that is binding is the authorized book from Allah, from God Almighty, which is what is contained between the covers of the Qur'an, 6,200 and something verses. So let us look at this Hadith in any case, and I will give you a response. Now, the Hadith came in fact in the form of some mufti or big guy in South Africa who raised this Hadith.
The females, it's haram for y'all to go there. You heard what I said? It's haram for y'all to go there. Why is haram for y'all to go to Eidgah for you ladies? Write down all these nusus, all these texts from Qur'an and from Sunnah. Surah 33 verse 33. Qur'an Kareem states, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ. A Muslim woman, her place is where? At home. So that is a Muslim lady's place, remember.
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear women of the Prophet, you are unlike any other women if you uphold righteousness. Do not hold underhanded conversations, as this incites a man with a corrupt mind. Speak only words that are of common interest. And then the important verse that the Mufti cited. وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ. Be settled in your homes. Be settled, to be at home, to be at ease, to be comfortable. To be settled in your homes, women of the Prophet, because the verse is still speaking about women. Remember the previous verse started, Ya nisa an-nabi, lastunna كَأَحَدٍ مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ. So the verse 32 started by addressing the women, and obviously the women here referred to are still the women of the Prophet. Be settled in your homes, women of the Prophet, and make not overtly seductive displays of the former times of ignorance. This is a weak citation of the Qur'an where the actual context which referred to the wives of the Prophet obviously were in a much different position, because if you consider the wives of the political head of a state, there needs to be control on the actions, the declarations, the words, because these can all be abused by people, as the verse said there, could be abused by political enemies of the Prophet. And so clearly the head of state, there's some different controls. So the citation of the verse was out of context and really picked a verse that refers to the wives of the Prophet. Let's continue listening to the Mufti.
See this hadith. إِذَا خَرَجَتِ الْمَرْأَةِ, when a lady leaves the home, وَهِيَ مُتَعَطِّرَةٌ, and she applies, you understand, lipstick, dipstick, and makeup, and you know better than me. I don't know all these things here.
Okay, the hadith says muta'attira, and that is perfume. Right, so it doesn't, the hadith doesn't actually mention lipstick, and as he facetiously says there, dipstick, because dipstick is something else. It's something you get in a car's engine. But I mean, it reveals an attitude that these guys hold towards women. And I think between the lines, we need to see more than the erroneous citing of sacred Quranic verses, number one. Let's quickly look at this hadith. And the hadith, first of all, is from Nasa'i. That is one of the Sihah Sitta, Nasa'i. And it's not from Tirmidhi, as he claims, because I've looked in Tirmidhi and I can't find this hadith in Tirmidhi. Right? So it is, yes, from Ash'ari. And it says, the Messenger of Allah said, any woman who puts on perfume, then passes by people so that they can smell her fragrance, then she is an adulteress. Now, you know what is an adulteress? Eh? An adulteress is somebody that in the same books of hadith is condemned to being stoned. So it's not a light accusation to say that somebody who wears perfume in public is an adulteress, because technically speaking, that person is now liable or deserving of death penalty. The death penalty, at least being lashed. And these people are so careless about the words. They are so careless about their religion. They say things that are almost like children, the hyperbole, the excess, the harshness of the words that come out of the hadith that you won't find in the Qur'an. Now, I've just then went and did some research or some reading up on this hadith to maintain. So let's quickly look at what are the views on this hadith. What are the so-called priests and scholars' contradictory views on this hadith? Let's look at this response here. What is the ruling on that particular hadith? And this is goes back to 2022. And here you have an official Dr. Shaik, Dr. Shaik Alam, Mufti of the Republic. This is the Mufti of Egypt. And quickly we look at this. A question was sent to the Egyptian fatwas from a woman who said, is it permissible for a woman to go out to the mosque wearing her perfume? As it was stated in some hadiths that if a woman goes out to the mosque wearing perfume, God will not accept her prayers until she washes herself. And then, of course, the important, the very extreme position there that she is a fornicator or an adulteress. So what does this mean? Does she have to wash? After presenting it to the Fatwa Committee, the answer came from His Eminence Professor Dr. Shaik, the Grand Mufti of the Republic, saying that it is permissible for a woman to wear perfume when she goes to the mosque on the condition that it prevents strife. The Holy Qur'an stated that adornment should be required at every mosque, whether men or for women. And there is a verse that says, dress your best when you go to the mosque. Now the verse that this fatwa, this Egyptian senior scholar or mufti raises is this verse, chapter 7, verse 31. Ya bani Adam, khudhu zinatakum inda kulli masjid. Yeah, oh you children of Adam, beautify yourselves at any sacred masjid. Right? So this verse here seems to contradict the South African mufti speaking there, because here it says, Ya Bani Adam. So children of Adam, all of Adam's. When the Quran speaks about Bani Adam, it speaks about humanity generally, without gender, without anything, without religion even. It implores and it enjoins on all people to look your best, to be your best. Khudhu zinatakum. So in other words, it does not speak to the Muslim men only, and it speaks about the masajid, the masjids. So my friends, I'm just adding more information to this fatwa, right? So let's continue with this fatwa. His Eminence Mufti added in his response through the official portal that the hadith prohibiting a woman from going out to the mosque wearing perfume. So what is meant by them is the prohibition against her perfumed with strong perfume in excess of the limit by which she intends fame. What clearly comes out here is that the hadith is even disputed amongst those who are experts. The highest cleric in Egypt disputes that position. The Qur'an disputes it when it says that women and men must look their best when they go to the masajid, which means they go to the masajid. So this guy banning women from the masajid is not, it falls away, because why would this verse then exist? Why would Allah say, dear children of Adam, all the children of Adam, beautify yourselves at any sacred sanctuary, at any masjid. The word is masjid here. Khudhu zinatakum inda kulli masjid. So the Quran contradicts them. They abuse another verse from the Quran where it actually speaks about the wives of the Prophet. They rely on single narrator hadith that comes from one man with a weak memory. And so in summary, let me conclude by saying that, Islam came to emancipate people from priesthood, the priesthood of those people of old, of the Jewish priests, of the Christian priests, of all other priests, all superstition, all unfounded knowledge that is based on conjecture, knowledge that is based on cultural practices, tradition, customs. Islam came to emancipate people from all of those things. And the point of Islam is to create a society that is just, balanced, wholesome, morally not corrupted, practice sound, healthy sexual ethics, respect women, respect men. And in a society like that, you wouldn't have to every day tell your women to close their ankle and close their hands and not speak, because the men are hypercharged up sexually. You see, the Muslim society, the real society, the ideal society, which is not necessarily Muslim as such, it could be any society which complies with the ideas as espoused in the Qur'an, is one that places the passions, the sexual urges, that can practice that in a way that is constructive, that is healthy, that is satisfying, but also that is just. What these muftis and scholars do is they assume that men are all perverted and sick in their minds, and that when they see a woman, they start lusting after that woman. Eid al-Fitr, as it is known. It is a time of coming together for the community to have a spirit of celebration. Now, how the heck are you going to celebrate when you leave your women at home, when you leave your girls at home? And for me, that is just going against what is natural, what is normal, what is real.